Are you ready for a little turtle power this weekend? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is back in theaters, but is it something you should bring your kids to see? Stay tuned to This, That, and Theology to find out. Hi, you're watching This, That, and Theology, equipping you to see your worldview in the world around you. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are certainly a part of my childhood, and probably the biggest disappointment of this film is that I never once heard the classic theme song. Although there are some concerns with some of the content and crass humor that you'll find in this film, there's a good message that is pretty clear for both parents and kids alike. This is something of a retelling of the Ninja Turtles storyline. They're still baby turtles that were draped in ooze that got mutated and grew up to be pizza-loving, ninja, bad guy fighting turtles that are living in the sewers of New York. Splinter, being a loving parent, wants the best for his kids, and in his view, that means sheltering them completely, keeping them hidden from a world that he thinks is merely out to kill them. His overly restricted guidelines comes from a position of him loving his boys and really wanting to see them safe and happy. The Ninja Turtles, of course, want nothing more than just to be accepted and to have a normal life. And there is a little bit of a suspension of disbelief because no mutant turtle showing up to high school would be considered normal. However, one of the coolest scenes in this film is when the turtles sneak away and watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off in the middle of a park as they look and long for the kind of life that Ferris had, where being a high schooler would be so cool that they could co-opt an entire parade just because they're a teenager. There is, of course, a sinister plot afoot to destroy all of humanity that only the turtles can stop, but I'll leave most of that plot line to your own enjoyment as you go see the film. There are some crass elements in this film. There is a lot of bathroom humor, and even though it's rated PG, there's a surprising amount of language, even if it is only mild swear words. The movie is engaging enough for young people that I wouldn't be surprised if on the way home they start throwing ninja stars made out of cardboard and jumping around the house, emulating the behavior that they've seen in the movie, so just keep that in mind as you're bringing younger viewers to see this film. An overarching message in this entire film, which is very clearly stated, both for the Turtles and for April O'Neil, who is now a teenager as well, is that doing something that is good for the wrong reasons is still wrong. The Turtles want to become heroes and get publicity because they think only then will they be accepted by society. The whole reason for doing the right thing is so that people will like them. Pretty soon the Turtles realize that whether people like them or not, they need to be the heroes they have been called to be because it's the right thing to do. It's what they need to do. This isn't all that dissimilar from what Jesus told us regarding fasting and tithing. Jesus called out the Pharisees and other people who fasted in such a way that drew attention to themselves, or tithed in a way that made other people think they were holy because of how much they were giving. This message is an important one, especially in a day and age when so many of our children are surrounded by the need to be accepted. Because so much of our kids' lives is in the digital space, they are constantly looking for acceptance from those around them by the response they get from social media. If they were on Facebook, for instance, they're looking for those likes and shares. They're hoping that they'll have great views on YouTube because that's how they know they've been accepted. So they'll behave in a way that is designed to get those kinds of responses. However, we know that that is not the reason you should be doing some things. It's so easy for us to tailor our entire lives around the way we think people will respond to them. And the Turtles and April both had that issue in place. It's a good message that this film has in saying that we should never be doing things just because we're hoping to get a certain response from some people. This message is especially important as kids move into the new school year, where the pressure to do things for acceptance will be greater than ever. There's also great messaging here for parents. Splinter, even though he's a loving parent, has done some things that aren't actually helping his kids. In the end, he realizes that he has to change. In order to parent better, he might need to change his approach. Often as parents, sometimes we need a course correction in our own parenting. We need to make sure that we're spending time to listen to our kids so that we're understanding the challenges that they're having to face every day and parenting well so that our kids aren't just happy, but are growing into men and women who will honor God in all that they do. I didn't miss the fact that in this film there is a moment where there is a sign for LGBTQIA+ support groups, but that is such a small part of this film, it's going to be glossed over by most of our young kids, but do keep an eye on it, and as well as the language, which they may start to emulate once they get home. The summer movie season is a great time to see films, many of which have great messages for our kids and for ourselves to be impacted, to remind ourselves of what God has told us in His Word on how we should be living our lives. So whether your kid is a preteen or heading off to college or has kids of their own, make sure you stay tuned to This, That, and Theology for more worldview reviews. If this has been helpful, make sure you've liked this video, share it to someone that might be impacted by it, and if you haven't already subscribed, like about 80% of you haven't, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We release videos about once a week, if not more often. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
We're brothers. We fight together. We're just getting started.
Yeah, she sounded like a leader.
I do? Oh, I do! Oh, I sound like such a leader!
And you ruined it.
Ninja Turtles.